CNN recently ran a segment of them allegedly rescuing a prisoner left in solitary confinement for over 90 days.
The guard makes us turn the camera off while he shoots the lock off the cell door. It's still not clear if there is something under the blanket.
Oh, it moved. Is there someone there? Is someone there?
Yep.
He tells the fighter he's from the city of Humps and has been in the cell for 3 months.
Okay, you're okay. You're okay. You're okay.
He clutches my arm tightly with both hands.
Does anyone have any water? Water.
After 3 months in a windowless cell, he can finally see the sky.
Now, this would be seen as a triumphant moment in journalism if it wasn't for the fact that they just freed a notorious torturer.
There's a good chance I may have committed some light treason.
As the New York Post reports, the seemingly innocent prisoner has a long history of alleged war crimes. Part of the forces that were known to torture those who refused to pay him off, also ending civilians in their civil war in 2014. As they also make note of how he didn't quite look like someone held in solitary confinement for 3 months, which is just the seasoning on top of the treason they felt the need to self-snitch on. As even before the whole "you're rescuing a torturer" reporting came out, absolutely nobody was buying the story of "we turned the camera off and shot the lock off a cell door, then zoomed in on a random blanket only to suddenly discover a civilian was cowering underneath with perfectly clean clothes and somewhat recently groomed," stating he was in a windowless room for 3 months but goes outside and immediately looks into the sun. This all sounds ridiculous until you realize it's CNN, which is pretty on brand for them. As I covered the last time, that specific CNN reporter got caught up in nonsense, where she was reporting from a war zone, ducked down on the ground from a massive barrage of rockets.
Hi, John. So forgive me, I have a slightly unelegant position, but we have just had a massive barrage of rockets coming in here, not too far from us, so we have had to take shelter here.
Only to seconds later show people casually walking around in the background, to which she was being confronted over her reporting.
But where's your humanity? Where? Where is your humanity? You liar! You liar!
And wasn't the only CNN journalist to be ran off the street.
You are not welcome here! Supporters! CNN! CNN!
CNN treats world events like the tabloids cover celebrity gossip. What they report doesn't necessarily have to be rooted in truth, as long as they make it look somewhat believable to the lowest information viewer, as they treat their viewers like goldfish.
The people who said that he was a Hitler lover weren't Democrats, they were Republicans. People who said that he was a fascist weren't Democrats, they were Republicans who worked for him.
Fear-mongering off fabricated narratives they made.
Why is Donald Trump telling women he will do things whether they like it or not?
John, that is grossly inaccurate what you just played. Play the full clip, play it in its context.
And that wasn't the only occurrence.
Especially if we're the kind of country that's going to be using the military against our own citizens. This kind of thing concerns me.
What do you mean use against our own citizens?
I'm talking about
You
sending...
said blue states behave. What do you mean? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about sending the military into blue states to make them behave. Getting Gavin Newsom under control, getting J.P. Pritzker under control.
What are you
making
talking
sure
about? What do you mean, like sitting into the state capitol to commandeer the state government?
I mean, I hope not, but he's definitely talked about that.
And they don't just make up hypotheticals, they're actually antithetical to getting the truth. As remember when Trump almost got taken out, CNN reported it as Secret Service rushing Trump off the stage, as Trump just fell to the ground amid loud bangs. And if it wasn't for free social media like X and videos like mine on YouTube, if you only watch CNN, you would just think Trump fell to the ground when he heard a loud bang, which just goes to show that CNN isn't so much reporting the news as they're reporting a corporate pre-approved narrative. This wasn't even the first time it was this obvious, as back in 2021, they showed Joe Rogan getting COVID, looking sickly and green, when the video Rogan originally posted had him looking much healthier and normal. And again, this was something I covered on this channel as it was happening. And I was just starting my YouTube channel at the time, which was not only a red pill moment for my listeners, but for myself too. As at the time, I remember seeing this clip from a very popular YouTuber I would watch, mocking people who do their own research.
I did my own research. I'm gonna stop you right there. What do you mean by you did your own research? Did you look at credible sites like New York Times and NPR, or are we talking opinion editorial pieces from Medium? Okay, dude, you don't have to be like...
And I think where I would have been had I not been doing this channel and conducting my own spooky research. As a normie, I likely would have accepted the train of thought of only listening to trusted sources like the New York Times or NPR, only for them to end up the same as CNN and be wrong about social distancing. Turns out the experts just made it up. Wrong about the shots, as there was no data saying it would stop the spread, and basically wrong about everything that was making their corporate sponsors billions of dollars during the lockdowns. So I don't think any lesser of anybody that originally bought into what the mainstream narrative was, as I see believing CNN or NPR like people that still use Internet Explorer or Internet Edge or whatever they're calling it now, as the only people that are still using it are the people who got it by default but never took the time to see if there was something better out there. And just because I'm terminally online doesn't mean I fault those who have a life outside of the internet, as that does sound nice. But after years of constant lies, misrepresentations, and now freeing war criminals for content, people are finally turning off CNN, as CNN and their sister in misinformation, MSNBC, are tanking, with CNN's viewership sliding in half to under 400,000 after the election, while Fox News barely lost anybody, still sitting at over 2.6 million viewers, as Fox blasts CNN for getting beaten by the Food Network in primetime viewership. The numbers don't lie, and apparently Americans would rather watch cooking competitions than whatever fake news CNN can fabricate. As I often joke about getting more views than CNN, but after 3 years of being on YouTube, sure, I'm not perfect and I've gotten things wrong, but I've never maliciously misled my listeners, or at the very least, I've never staged rescuing a war criminal from captivity with the production quality and acting of a High School Musical. As at this point, watching CNN actually makes you dumber and more misinformed than if you watched nothing at all. And years ago, Denzel Washington put it best after fake news was written about him.
If you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you do read it, you're misinformed. We live in a society now where it's just first. Who cares? Get it out there. We don't care who it hurts. We don't care who we destroy. We don't care if it's true. Just say it, sell it. Anything you practice, you'll get good at.
So if you appreciate my concise, lighthearted coverage on the tragic status of today's reality, hopefully I've earned your subscription, then go check out the video on how even conservative news networks are getting pretty creepy.